Shut up, shut up, shut up. Hi, I'm Brian, founder of That Business Trainer, creator of the Sales Framework. And today I want to talk about one of the most underrated skills in sales, the ability to say less. Most salespeople believe they need to talk their way into a deal. They think sales persuasion means having the perfect pitch, that clever response, the flawless script. But the truth, the best salespeople don't say more. Top salespeople say less, far less, and that has far more impact. Today, we're going to talk about how saying less can actually help you sell more and how silence can be your most powerful sales tool and how talking can sometimes get you in trouble. So, why do we talk too much? Um, let's start with the obvious part. It usually comes down to three things, three fears even. The fear of losing control. We think silence means the client is drifting away, so we fill the space. We jump in with more features, more benefits, more reassurance, more of the knowledge that we have. There's also the fear of not knowing enough, and we overcompensate by dumping lots of information, showing them how competent we are, hoping that the quantity of words is going to equal competence or express competence. And then there's that fear of rejection. So afraid of hearing no that you're going to continually try to talk the client into a yes. Hey, it's working. As long as we're talking, we're still in the game, right? I haven't said no. But here's the irony. The more you talk, the less the client hears. And the less we listen, the less they trust us. When you deliberately choose to say less, three powerful things happen. First of all, you create space for the client to think. I've seen so many sales conversations that really move too fast. They're rushed. The client's brain needs space to process. They need to feel ownership of the conversation. When you pause, when you don't rush to fill silence, they start talking. They open up. And that's where all that information, all that knowledge, all that truth about the sale lives, in that space. Second, you appear more confident. Silence signals authority, not talking. People who are sure of their value don't need to over-explain. And you've probably noticed this yourself. The most trusted experts are calm, concise, and comfortable with pauses. And third, you uncover what actually matters. When you speak less, the client will typically fill the space and you'll get a lot more information and you'll also get to know their priorities. They'll tell you what's important if you let them. I say this all the time. The client will tell you how to sell to them. The client will tell you what they need if you would just shut up and let them. So how do you actually say less without it being an awkward conversation? How do you practice saying less without coming across as cold or disengaged? I can give you a couple techniques that you could start using today. Technique one is to stop explaining, start confirming, start questioning. Instead of saying things after you've had this conversation with the client about what they need or something they've just said, and you start to say, hey, what we do is we provide this integrated platform. It'll help you automate those workflows, increase the visibility, reduce friction. You just say, hey, sounds like when you were talking this and this, maybe efficiency and visibility, sounded like they were important to you or sounded like they were two biggest challenges. Is that right? And they'll continue to talk. That's a 90% reduction in words with a 100% increase in connection. And you're not lecturing, you're simply validating what they're talking about. Another technique is to replace any mini presentations with micro questions. Whenever you feel that urge to talk for more than 30 seconds straight, just ask a short open-ended question instead. Instead of explaining all the details of your pricing structure, which could be comprehensive, Just say to the client, hey, would it help if I broke down that pricing briefly? Or would it help if I broke the structures down? Or would I help if I broke down one of them? Anything where you're not going to be talking about lots of things for a long period of time. It also puts control back into the client's hands. People lean in when they're invited, not when they're overwhelmed. And then the third technique, the one we like to help people with the most, is to master the pause. After asking a question, stop talking. I'm sure you've heard of this before. It's hard to do for most salespeople. It helps if you count in your head, if you have to. When I first started to learn this, that's what I would do. Consciously count seconds in my head. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And by focusing on that, I knew I wouldn't talk. And I wasn't going to say another word until the client responded to me. That silence will feel like a pressure at first. But what you'll find is you don't really get that far in the seconds. It feels a lot longer than it actually is. But that space might be what your client needs to think and respond. And that pause communicates a lot to them non-verbally. It says, I care what you think about this more than what I have to say about this. That's power. That's quiet, confident power. Let me just give you a real example or two. I was training somebody in the technology learning space, and this person was, by all accounts, a good salesperson, but he used to dominate every meeting. He was friendly. The meetings looked and sounded great from the outside because he was friendly, charming. He was knowledgeable. In a 1 hour presentation, his demo probably ran 40 minutes of that. His explanations were detailed. He was pretty proud of how much he knew. Here's the trouble. He wasn't closing at the rate he should have been closing at. And you could see it. So what we did was cut his talking time by half, helped him cut his demo, gave him lots of questions, helped him with his pause, kept listening to his calls. And anytime it was going on, we'd just say, shut up here, shut up, shut up, shut up. He started to identify where he was talking too much. And it came down to nervous energy and excitement. He was so excited about what he was selling and trying to help the person that he would just tell them all about it. But we started having him ask questions, powerful ones, like, hey, Mr. Client, how do you decide whether a project like this is even worth doing? And then just sit back and listen. And the deals would start to near close themselves. He didn't just start closing more, started closing deals faster because clients were opening up and beginning to reveal things that he'd never heard before, things that helped him from client to client to client. So by saying less, he learned more. By learning more, he sold better. I'll give you another example of talking too much. This one undid a done sale. Think about that. I was working with this salesperson. It was a retail. We've just closed a woman on a beautiful dining table and chair set, rather expensive. She was filling the order form out. We were already scheduling the delivery for later that day. It might have been later that day, next morning. It was getting delivered imminent. The manager of the store walks by, comes over, starts talking to her. Oh, what set did you get? Harmless question, right? Oh, really? Oh, great choice. That's one of our most popular sets. And just like that, I could feel it. I could see it. The mood shifted. She put her pen down, said, I was really looking for something unique. Thought I'd found it. But you're saying lots of people have this set around here. Oh, well, I'll just keep looking. And she stood up and left the store. And that was that. Sale killed in less than 30 seconds because a salesperson couldn't keep their mouth shut. And I will say it again over and over Anyone who knows me, who's done any sales training or worked for me or with me, until I'm blue in the face, shut up. Please, just shut up. And I mean that so kindly. I mean it in a way that will help you. So how do you know if you're talking too much? Take a quick test. Record your next sales call and then play it back. You can have this analyzed. Add one of these AI meeting assistants to your meeting. We used to have to do all this manually. It'll show you the talk time. If you're speaking more than half the time, I'm going to bet you're talking too much. I don't care what field you're in, what industry, what you think you need to say. If you're talking more than half, you're talking too much. Great sales conversations are like tennis rallies. They go back and forth. They're not speeches. And if you're always serving and never receiving, the client has no reason to stay in the game. So aim for 60-40 would be a good mix. If you are finding that it's half and half, start trying to go the other way. Get it down to 70-30, 80-20. I'm probably at 80-20. Some conversations, 90-10. I try not to talk at all on a sales call. If I'm talking, I'm learning near nothing. So I try not to talk at all. That balance, when you start to shift it into the client's side, or the client is talking more than you, creates trust, collaboration. It creates the space to have real sales conversations, and that's where real decisions happen. So here's your takeaway. Saying less isn't about doing less. It's about meaning more with every word. So next time you're in a sales conversation, challenge yourself. Ask a powerful question. Pause longer than feels comfortable. Summarize instead of explain. Notice what'll happen. Clients will start thinking. Clients will open up. Clients will trust you more. Great sales is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the calmest, most confident mind in the conversation. Let me give you a quick action plan that you can do immediately. Record one. If you can record more, fantastic, but start small. Record one sales call this week. Measure your talk to listen ratio. Identify 3 points in that conversation where you could have said less or where silence would have helped you. In your conversations, practice a 3-second pause after every client answer. So if this helps you and you want to know more, please subscribe, and hopefully these videos will help you going forward. And remember, sometimes the most persuasive thing you can say is nothing at all. And we'll actually look at how to improve your listening skills, because most people hear, but they don't listen. And we'll look at how to improve that in some upcoming videos. Until then, happy selling. Money.